Welcome to New Game Plus. You're listening to a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name's Kenny.
I'm Nolan.
And this is a very special episode. We're recording this live, but not only recording this live, we are live on air on our Twitch stream at twitch.tv/NGP podcast.
Now,
In fact,
it's only
we've got
live if you're actually in the Twitch channel currently listening to us.
Yes, we actually always record live. We just don't always do that publicly.
That's true. For most of you that are listening to this, it won't be live.
I usually
Right.
You'll
send
be
a
listening
proxy.
to it as a little bonus episode after the fact. But if you are live right now, thanks for tuning in.
Yes. And we've got a few people in the chat right now that are watching live. So, like, a few people we see, Ace is in the room, and Retro Game Brews,
Bradley.
and Bradley Hookshot. A good amount of people in here. Once you come in, drop a hello or a woot woot or anything like
Or
that.
a hey guys
Howdy.
emote. You know,
Howdy,
Howdy
hey
would be
guys.
okay.
Any of those things. We're gonna have different segments throughout the week. We're gonna interact with you guys, maybe even ask you some questions or some thoughts on some of the things that we're talking about. Hey, cool trainer Kells and Ben, everyone. Hey, welcome. Thank you for joining us as we record live the 2019 Retro Gaming Tournament finale.
I'm so excited.
I'm
That's a-
actually nervous.
it's a
I don't
big
even know why
title.
I'm so excited, but finales are exciting, and this is a finale.
Yeah, why don't you know why you're excited? Like, there's one reason we're here, and it's to find out who the ultimate champion is.
And after
fair.
this, I get to have leftover Thai food, so it's
Okay,
just a
so-
little bonus.
Yeah, so that's lower on the scale,
It's
I
pretty
would
high
say.
for me.
Well, I would say lower. But Nolan, take a moment. What is the 2019 Retro Gaming Tournament?
Well, it's new to us, but it's something that we want to start doing every year. And it's basically your March Madness bracket, but with retro games. And we tried our best to put in the 64 best games of all time.
I mean,
What?
What do you mean?
What do you want to interject right there? with?
like, we're not actually going to claim that the 64 best video games of all time are exactly the 64 that we put in our
I
list.
didn't, and did I say that, Dustin?
Nope, you did
Okay,
not say
You
that.
thank
kind
you.
of did.
I said we
You
tried
said
our
we tried
best.
our best. The
And-
best 64 games.
And
We-
you said retro, so it's not best 64 games of all time. We are a
It's-
retro gaming podcast, so we
Well,
dealt with
sure.
64 of some of the best retro
we took
video games.
64 notable retro video games and had them face off head to head.
Chat hates you, Kenny. And
Kenny is the antagonist of our life and our podcast.
we seeded these 64 games that were selected, and we did our best, but ended up
Everybody agreed with us.
everyone really loved our choices
Yeah.
and rolled with it and actually worshipped us for it. But we're down
It
to
hasn't been divisive at all.
But yeah, we every week we have been voting and opened it up to everyone to vote, and now it's down to the final two, and it's time to announce the top
Guys,
game.
I'm getting so much Civ 2 hate in our chat just because
Good.
people want to troll my face, and I actually appreciate it.
Listen,
I'm
we
honored.
added Civ 2 to the list. Yes, it fits the retro category. No, it doesn't fit good game, but we included on the list for Kenny's sake.
It's on there.
Instantly got out of the tournament, but we did it for him at least.
One of
Yeah.
many, many things that people got totally wrong in this lineup.
Salt.
Again, thank you guys for joining us live. Thank you for trolling Kenny and talking about how Civ 2 shouldn't have been in the tournament. But we took these 64 games, and then week after week, our listeners, people that have never even heard of us before, we shared this, you shared this, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people voted in these various rounds. We had, what was it, a total of 5 rounds maybe? We went from the original 64, and then we went to round 2, and then what did we call the 16? The
Super 16.
Super 16, the
Awesome
Awesome
8.
8, and then finally the Fateful 4 was the most recent voting that
Yeah.
ended yesterday. And so no one else knows the results of this Fateful 4. And so here live on this episode, we're going to reveal the outcome of that Fateful 4 and tell you who the final two are. And then we are going to announce live here in moments the Ultimate Champion?
I'm nervous.
wait.
I know the answer and I'm nervous.
So
I
this
don't
is
know the answer, and I'm nervous.
this is the best thing to do. All right. So the 4 games that went into the Fateful Four were the following. It was The Legends of Zelda: Link to the Past versus Super Mario World.
Okay.
And then on the other side, it was Super Mario Brothers 3 versus Mega Man 2.
Weird.
Those were the 2 lineups. I'd love to hear from chat, and then I'd love to hear from both of you, idiots, what 2 games you think deserve to be in the final 2 out of those. So scratch everything else that could have happened in this tournament.
Yeah.
Out of Link to the Past or Super Mario World and Super Mario Brothers 3 or Mega Man 2, which 2 do you think deserve to face off in the final 2?
So, any of them, I think, would be valid, but that's not an answer. So, I choose Mega Man 2 over Super Mario Bros. 3 because it's my opinion. Now, for the other 2, I choose A Link to the Past because, and now Super Mario World, of course, like, come on, one of the best of all time, but personally, I'm a Zelda boy, and I would be, like, it'd be weird to have 2 Marios in the final 2.
Okay, so you go Link to the Past versus Mega Man 2.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Kenny? Kenny
Yeah,
is gone into chat, just zoned in, doesn't know how to do.
It's hard to read and be entertaining at the same time.
It's
I don't
not.
know how people do it.
Don't read.
I could never be an audiobook host.
Okay.
Okay, so Link to the Past, just clearly.
Okay.
That one's almost a given.
Okay.
The next one's a lot harder for me. A lot harder for me. I'm
But-
gonna actually say I kind of hope Super Mario Brothers 3 takes Mega Man 2. I don't think it will, but I kind of hope it does.
Okay, so you're saying Link to the Past versus Super Mario Brothers 3.
Are the 2 I'd like to see win,
Right.
not the 2 I
And
think will.
And here's my problem. I think out of this entire bracket, 2 of the best games is Link to the Past and Super Mario World.
See, that's tough, yeah.
I think Super Mario World is the best Mario game, and I think Link to the Past, in my opinion, is the best Zelda game. And so to see them face off and only one of them be able to make it, it hurts me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I actually have more conflict on the other one than I do on that one. I feel
Really?
like Link to the Past is way easier choice for me.
So
But I didn't ever do a lot of Super Mario World.
Oh, and I
did a
love
ton.
it. The 2 that I think deserve to be facing off in the final 2 is I would be completely fine with either Link to the Past or Super Mario World, but I would go Link to the Past. And then out of Super Mario Brothers 3 and Mega Man 2, I would say Mega Man 2. So I would say Link to the Past versus Mega Man 2. Kenny,
That's-
you would say Link to the Past versus Mega Man
SMB3.
2 or SMB 3, and then
Yeah,
Nolan, you said
for
Link to the
favorites.
Past.
I think it'll be Mega Man 2 though.
Yeah. Here, let's take a moment. What did a few people in chat?
Yeah,
what
I'm
did they
seeing
say? as
Team
some
Mega
winners?
Man. Bradley said Mega Man and A Link to the Past. Dylan said Super Mario World versus SMB3. So that's 2 Marios for Dylan.
Blue Bomber for life. We got some Mega Man fans in here.
I
We
know.
do.
Someone Hook said I'm still mad Chrono got kicked out. Well, sorry. I am
Yeah,
too.
we all are.
We are too.
Hey, we do want to say thanks for all the hosts, guys. We've got a few people hosting us now, so thanks for the shares. Thank you for bringing in some of your viewers as well. That's the Fateful Four, and that who was faced off in our last round. We had hundreds of votes in the Fateful Four, and we were left with 2 final games. So I'll tell you now who were face to face for the Ultimate Champion.
Oh my
On
gosh.
the left side of the bracket,
The ring.
the game that won out between Link to the Past and Super Mario World is Link to the Past.
Okay, no
I
surprise
want to
there.
know how close it was. Do you have those numbers?
I actually do, yeah.
Okay,
in
because
fact-
I predicted it would be like neck and neck, like 51-49.
No, I think this one takes like 70-30.
Really?
Okay, so it's not far off. Link to the Past won at 59%, Super
Okay.
Mario World at 41%.
Okay. So
Split our differences.
yeah, I'm happy. First of all, second of all, Super Mario World definitely deserved to be up there. Where in the Fateful Four, it deserved to get that. far.
Yes, absolutely. And as did Link to the Past, so it's
Yeah,
good that they both ended up there. Some would say that it was the other side, the right side of the bracket, that had an easier chance of getting closer and closer and
I
closer.
think so, yeah.
I mean, Tony Hawk Pro Skater made it to the awesome
Yeah,
eight, guys. So.
everybody's sleeping on Tony. That was weird.
On the right side, we've got Super Mario Brothers 3 and Mega Man 2, and I will tell you this, that it wasn't even close.
Oh, really?
It wasn't even close.
In that case, Mega Man had to take it. I say
Out of-
that. I don't know.
Okay, what do you guys think? Super Mario 3, which one
If
made
you
it
tell
through?
me it's not even close, I'm telling you Mega Man won.
I know. I'm
It's-
predicting a weird upset and saying Super Mario 3 won, even though it shouldn't. Mega Man 2. It should, though. I don't know.
Let's
I'm
hear
totally
it.
confused.
Man, it looks like chat is split. We've got some that are
Chat's
saying,
freaking.
please God, let Mega Man 2 win. Some saying Super Mario Brothers 3, and some still saying Chrono Trigger is the best video game.
Still hung on Chrono Trigger.
Which we don't disagree. All right. It's not even close. The game that
That's
won out of those two, Super Mario Brothers 3 and Mega Man 2, won by 70% to 30.
What?
70-30.
That's
blowout,
weird
but
in a
not like
Fateful Four.
complete route.
That's a blowout. 70
That
to
is a
30.
blowout. Okay.
And the winner of those two, making it to the final two, is Super Mario Brothers 3.
Hey, that's surprising. I'll
Sorry,
take
Mega
it,
Man
though.
fans.
That is
Ugh.
weird to me.
Bradley, I know.
That doesn't
I
make
know.
sense. Like Mario Boys came out for Fateful 4. Where was Mega
They
Man?
did. And here's the thing, Mega Man, man, you just have so many in the series, and so it's gonna split the fan base. I feel
think
like.
you're right. I think you're right. You had a lot of Mega Man X boys in the chat, I'm sure, or
Sure.
voters. And then Mega Man 2, they were like, I don't know that game. That's my
Yeah.
prediction because Mega Man 2 to me is the best one, and it's a clear winner. But SMB 3, dude, come on, that game's amazing
It's-
too.
Yeah, it's great. It's polished. It
Yeah.
was totally revolutionary for its time.
Tanuki
Everybody
Mario.
knows it. Like, it brought appeal.
Right.
Like, it's a great game. I know being like retro game, like hardcore. It's like, oh yeah, Mega Man's this whole thing. But like Super Mario 3 is no joke. I'm glad it stepped up.
Retro Game Bruce says Blue Bomber is blue for a reason. Hashtag sad
Oh.
Mega Man.
Yeah. Sad. Sorry, Mega Boy. You are not in the final two. So the final face-off is Super Mario Brothers 3 versus Link to the Past. And again, there was very little to no competition here
Okay,
with the
good.
final results.
Good.
This
Kenny?
one's a little easier to call.
Yeah,
than
that's
I
good
think.
news.
This one is easier to call.
That's good
In
news.
my opinion. Kenny, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Link to the Past wins it hands down.
Nolan?
Yeah, a blowout on this one's easy to predict.
Well, neither of you do it because it'll be bad for audio quality, but everyone at home, drum roll, please. Mime it.
Tom, put a drum roll.
The ultimate champion of the 2019 Retro Gaming Tournament is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
There it is.
Boom.
Nolan, is our audio still on this screen?
Yes, our audio is still on this screen.
Perfect. Just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
people could still hear us.
Yeah, you're good.
What do you think? That's a big deal. Legend of
Link to the
Zelda.
Past.
I'm happy. I'm very happy that it's a Zelda at all. And controversially, this is not my favorite Zelda. It's not even in my top 3. But
Yeah, I think it at the beginning of the tournament, if you'd had to make me put money on something, to win the whole thing, there's a good chance it would have been a Zelda game, but I don't think I would have chosen Link to the
I
Past.
actually think I would have. I'm being honest. I think I would have
I
chosen
think
it.
I'd have put money on Ocarina of Time over Link to the Past.
I was going with Link to the Past, if at all possible, all the way through.
Yeah.
Did Link to the Past didn't face Final Fantasy VII, or is that who took out Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah, A Link to the Past took out Final Fantasy VII.
Okay,
And
and that
Awesome
would
Eight.
be
That
the
explains
only
it.
game, pretty much, that I would be okay with taking out Final Fantasy VII.
7 would have been. Oh, I see what you're saying. If 7 would have beat A Link to the Past, I think Mario World would have like crushed it 80-20.
Sure, but I would have gone 7 all the way. But if there's
Right.
any game that's going to beat it and kick it out of the tournament, I'm fine with Link to the Past doing it. One of my favorite games.
Yeah.
Kenny, I see you. I see wheels turning in your head. What are you
Yeah,
thinking
I'm,
about,
I'm
buddy?
just watching chat, seeing everybody's reactions.
Right?
I kind of agree with a lot of what people are saying. It's a bummer that some of the face-offs that happened as early as they did in the tournament, because definitely some big titles got knocked out. But that's kind of how the whole thing works. That's sort of the fun of like a seeded tournament format, is that you're gonna get some of these things happening before the finals,
Yeah.
and so it makes for interesting moments, like Super Mario Brothers 3 taking second. Like, that's super cool.
Yeah, I kind of love that low key because that's a sleep. Like it's not a sleeper, it's a classic, but I wouldn't have picked it at all.
Yeah, somebody just brought up the fact that StarCraft lost to Resident Evil, and I don't think I've been saltier about a single thing that's happened on this podcast
agree.
than
Okay.
that fact,
Well,
maybe.
speaking of, how about let's pull up the
Yeah, let's get
bracket. Let's
into it.
take a look at it, and we'll just go through. We won't be able to talk about every single element, but we can. Here's the final and full bracket over here to our left, and you should be able to look at it with us. And Nolan will be able to zoom in close when we're talking
Yep.
about certain sections. But if we just start in the top left, kind of to see the Sephiroth region to begin with, you see Final Fantasy VII versus Civ 2. You see
Yeah,
Tetris
that's
and
so unfair. Like,
you see
what?
Tetris and Double Dragon, Super Smash Bros. Melee and Myst, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and Mortal Kombat 3. Those are and wait, and you also see, where am I? Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and Duke Nukem 3D, which that one's easy. Super Mario
Huge
Kart,
titles.
Yoshi's Island, Half-Life 2, and Oregon Trail, and
Huge
Donkey Kong
titles.
Country versus Gauntlet. I won't do that every time, but that is kind of the first lineup. Any major things in there that you think completely unfair or any big upsets?
So for me, I agree with left side of the bracket. First of all, was completely and utterly stacked, in my opinion. Like if you look at the right side, and we will in a minute, left side, especially Sephiroth region, is like stacked.
I think we just had lots of really good games, because I
Yeah.
don't know that it's as stacked. There's some really strong ones on right side too.
Sure, but
Chrono Trigger, Super Metroid, Halo 2.
for me, and this
GoldenEye?
is gonna hurt Dustin. Tetris was an upset. I thought Tetris would make it farther. I thought it would beat 7.
You thought, yeah, and you weren't the only one. Other people thought that too.
Yeah.
But Kenny, do you really think that Civilization 2 should have beat Final Fantasy 7, or you just wish
No,
that Civilization 2 was faced off against someone else like Myst?
Yeah, I'm just mad on how it got seeded, is all.
Yeah.
I'm like, it might win a couple of early rounds, but it's not winning any kind of tournament like this that's
Sure.
broad appeal, across platform, whatever else. Like, it's definitely a better game than you guys give it credit for, and it's one I love. But especially facing off on Final Fantasy VII, like, it was just dead from the get-go.
In the round 2 there, we see Final Fantasy VII versus Tetris, Melee versus Symphony of the Night, Link to the Past versus Super Mario Kart, and Half-Life 2 versus Donkey Kong Country. The only, it's not major upset. I mean, a 5 beat a 4 and a 6 beat a 3, which is maybe a little bit more of a stretch, but for the most part, that looks right to me.
Me too. I actually agree with Soten beating Melee, which is weird because I love that game. Actually, I don't know now that I'm thinking about it, but the rest of them I agree with. I think Donkey Kong Country beats Half-Life 2. But yeah, I'm good with round 2 on that one.
I just looking at Tetris and Final Fantasy VII there, Hookshot saying in chat that Final Fantasy VII beat Tetris just by a small margin, 52% to 48%.
Wow.
Oh,
Not surprised.
So it was very close.
yeah.
And then in the Super 16, we've got Final Fantasy VII versus Symphony of the Night and Link to the Past versus Donkey Kong Country. Again, I think those are pretty clear. Donkey Kong Country, great game,
I was
but
nervous about it knocking a Link to the Past out. I'm not gonna
really,
lie. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of my favorite Donkey Kong titles.
It's a lot of people. I think if there was a game that was going to knock that one out, it would have been Country. I was a little nervous.
Symphony of the Night, I'll admit, I haven't played before. Kenny, have you?
No.
I don't know if it's my aesthetic either. That's why I've stayed away from it. I'm waiting until we pull it on the podcast now.
Oh yeah,
It'll probably come up for a producer episode at some point. A Patreon pool.
A Patreon pool, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And then finally in the Awesome 8, we've got Final Fantasy VII versus Link to the Past there, which, man, that's super hard. I voted 7, but I knew it was going to be Link to the
Was
Past.
it close? Do we have the numbers on that? I don't have it.
I can either get that, but Hookshot, drop that in the chat.
Yeah, that's
7
fine.
and Link to the Past.
I think A Link to the Past won handily, if I remember.
I
I
it
think so
was-
too. Actually,
yeah.
I don't think it was really close at all.
Bradley said my next
yeah.
Patreon poll submissions: Castlevania, Soten, and River City Ransom.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I
good
mean,
submission.
Symphony of the Night. I obviously heard about it many times before. It's a Castlevania game, duh, platformer, iconic. It's Metroidvania, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's just those
not your
like
thing.
emo, dark, squall. Final Fantasy VIII.
Squallion Heart.
Squall like vibes. Hookshot said, yeah, oh my gosh, Link to the Past 61% over 7's
Ouch.
39%.
Ouch.
Not
Yeah,
close.
Link to the Past just cleaned up, but we're not
Sephiroth
surprised.
region, man. That was a
Alright.
tough one.
It was a tough one. Let's go down. Let's go to the right. Can we do that?
Yeah,
I think
let's look at the right side. see
the
what we got.
Lavos region.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So let me pull
Lavos
that
region.
over.
I won't read the first round. That's just tons of games. I guess one. So the big upset for this, how we had them seated, is we had seated at 2 Knights of the Old Republic, and we had seated at 15 Street Fighter 2. In the round 1, Street Fighter 2 beat Knights of the Old Republic.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm super surprised. Street Fighter
I-
2's, I mean, it's a big title,
I
but
like
so is
that it
Knights of the
won.
Old Republic. That one's a hard call.
I was hoping Street Fighter 2 would go pretty far. And
It
Kotar,
did.
of course, is amazing, but is Kotar's 15 years old, right? Or older?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only ones I don't even want to talk about.
Yeah,
it.
I know, I know.
Kotar is for sure.
Okay. I agree with that. Street Fighter 2 is sick.
And then we also see that Doom, our 14 seed, took
Yeah.
out Final Fantasy VI, our 3 seed.
Weird.
Which I think that one also does make sense. Doom is that iconic first-person shooter that defined a genre.
I know. And like I know it's seated at 14. That's probably wrong. But again, we're not talking about seating. It is what it is.
But for many, Final Fantasy VI is the best Final Fantasy game.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like that was an upset for me, a major upset. I voted 6.
Yeah, I would have voted 6 too. There's a couple of those early first-person shooters that I'd be okay with stealing an upset on a Final Fantasy game, but Doom is not that one for me.
In the round 2, we had Chrono Trigger versus Super Metroid, which
so
right
unfair.
away, that's massive. I think who said that? Yeah, Ben in chat is saying Chrono versus Super Metroid is huge matchup early on.
Ooh,
Round
yeah.
2, to lose one of those hurts.
Yeah.
We had Majora's Mask versus Halo 2. We had Street Fighter 2 versus GoldenEye 007, and then we had Doom versus Super Mario Brothers 3.
I'm saying this is where I said we were saying the left side of the tournament was stacked, but like that's stacked. There's just some really good games out there, and when you collide them head to head, you're gonna run into these moments that are uncomfortable.
The more I look at right side, at least in Lavos region, okay, it was pretty stacked too. I'm with Ben. He said Majora's Mask doesn't get enough love. It lost to Halo 2. Whatever. I know Halo 2 is Halo 2, but it's not 15 years old. Just saying.
Do you think that, in your opinion, Street Fighter 2 beats out GoldenEye 007?
HE double hockey sticks? No.
Kenny?
I'm not surprised that it did,
I'm not
because like classic early love, it's just good. But on the other hand, I'm absolutely surprised that it did.
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah?
GoldenEye 7, like GoldenEye 7.
And
They're
then
both
we
big titles.
We've got multiple people, including. Oh wait, no, we've got some conflict here. Some people are thinking Majora's Mask should have handedly beat Halo 2, and some
I
are saying that
thought
Halo
so
2 is
too.
better.
I thought so too.
You thought Majora's Mask should. You said that Ocarina is your favorite, but Majora's Mask it might be better.
Yeah, I've said that. I stand by it.
But apparently not better than Halo 2.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, I'm
but-
okay with that.
No, you would be. Your
I
opinion's
absolutely would
usually
be.
bad.
Let's go to Super 16. We've got Chrono Trigger versus Halo 2, and then Street Fighter 2 versus Super Mario Brothers 3. I think the right things happened here. I mean,
Yeah, I hate that this is where
Yeah,
Halo 2 had to die. I would have loved it to go one more round.
but if it's
But
facing
if it's
Chrono-
gonna lose, like it better lose to Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, I was gonna
so-
say Halo shouldn't have made
and
it that far.
And it made it into the Super 16. Nolan thinks it shouldn't have even made it that far. I think that's a
don't-
good place for
I don't
it
think it should have been in the
to
tournament.
die.
I think
What?
we had Combat Evolved. We shouldn't have had Halo 2. Hot take.
Yeah,
And
so it's a whole different conversation.
then the awesome 8 for that side, we had Chrono Trigger versus Super Mario Brothers 3 right there. And for some reason, the wrong thing happened in Super
That may
Mario
be the
Brothers.
upset of the whole thing, right
Yep,
there.
that's
It's
the
Super
big
Mario
upset.
Brothers
knocked out.
3 should not beat Chrono Trigger in
No.
any world.
I don't think so either. I think
I-
Chrono
I
is
think-
way better.
Yeah, Chrono versus The Link to the Past would have been a more interesting championship, I think.
If I remember correctly, Chrono and SMB3 was 51-49. It was so close.
Oh, so
Yeah.
close.
That was
I think it would have
exciting.
stood up better versus A Link to the Past.
Okay, well, and I'll come back to this question. So can we just drop down and do Dr. Wily?
Yeah.
Side?
Yeah.
First round we again won't read those. Any big things? Anything that stands out to you?
I mean, Pong should have gone all the way.
No,
Right?
no.
No.
No
So
one thinks Pong shouldn't have even been there.
I don't. I disagree
Yeah.
with the inclusion. Okay, Pac-Man lost to TMNT Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time made
Pac-Man.
made it at least 2 rounds. It beat Resident Evil and Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Yeah, it needed to beat Resident Evil after
C2.
Resident Evil got the worst upset of the tournament outside of Chrono Trigger.
I'm
Yeah.
realizing that TMNT beat Pac-Man round 1, and I'm actually so mad.
Turtles in Time is awesome. Hookshot said that in chat. I agree. I think it's one of the best Turtles game. It's an incredible arcade game. It went over to some other
You know
console.
what else is a great arcade game? That started it all, basically.
Pac-Man. Pac-Man.
That's right. Weird.
Kenny, are you okay with Final Fantasy X beating out Dragon War?
Yeah,
He's not.
I
He's not.
don't
deep
like
side.
it. Like, my nostalgia hates it a
Yeah.
lot for sure,
I
but
like it.
I get it.
I like it.
Like, that one's probably fair seeding. It's one I would have been okay with an upset on, but
Dude,
yeah,
this
I get
region
it.
had the most upsets.
In round 2, we've got Mega Man 2 versus Contra.
Easy. Well, yeah, easy.
Sims versus
I
Star
was saying-
Fox 64. Turtles in Time versus Resident Evil, and Final Fantasy X versus Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
That's the most
which
ridiculous thing to me.
Pro Skater 2 beat Final Fantasy X as a greater retro video
I
game.
loved Tony Hawk's
I
Pro
don't-
Skater 2, but
I don't want to talk about the rest of this region. StarCraft didn't make it out of the first round, guys.
no, it didn't.
What's wrong with
Sims-
everybody?
I think Sims deserved to win out over Star Fox 64. I'm not gonna lie.
I
Sims-
think
Sims
Sims
was-
deserved to win out over Star Fox 64 as well. I think Turtles in Time is better than Resident Evil, but maybe not better than StarCraft. And I think
There
Final
it
Fantasy
is.
X is better than Pro Skater 2.
I
This
wish-
whole region, I would have maybe gone
Uh,
different, except Mega Man 2.
I kind of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, like dark horsing it all the way. Like, that series was super revolutionary.
It was
Bradley's
Season
calling
6.
us out for sleeping on Tony Hawk, and I
No, I
get Tony
know,
Hawk is
I
a
know.
great game, but
It
look at
is.
the other games it's compared to here.
It's
or
a great game,
facing.
but FF10.
Like, it's a really, really good game. Like, I hate those kinds of games, and I still like those games. They're so good.
The Super 16 is Mega Man 2 versus Star Fox 64, and Turtles in Time versus versus Pro Skater 2, and
I
it
know.
still wins.
I'm mad that both of those games got to the Super 16. Mega Man 2
Yeah, that easily
easily
should have been StarCraft versus Tony Hawk, and StarCraft should have lost to Mega Man 2.
If you say
Yeah.
StarCraft,
Actually, should have
again-
beat Mega Man 2, but that never would have happened.
Well,
Bradley said Final Fantasy X sucks.
I mean, ultimately, if we're taking it all the way, StarCraft's a better game than A Link to the Past, and should have won the whole thing. So
in
there's
this
that.
branch, it should have been Mega Man 2 versus The Sims, and it should have
No.
been StarCraft versus Final Fantasy X.
I'll take those odds. I'll take that.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that too. But people surprise us.
And the
like,
Awesome 8, we got Mega Man 2 versus.
It's offensive that they're against each other. I'm mad.
What if Tony Hawk would have won over Mega Man 2?
I would have skateboarded in real life.
I
That's
would
your
pay money to
solution?
see Kenny skateboard in real life, and I would also quit this tournament, and we wouldn't do it next year.
Which means in the Fateful 4 on the side, it was Super Mario Brothers 3 versus Mega Man 2. Do you think what would have happened if it was Mega Man 2 versus Chrono Trigger?
Same thing. Oh, Mega Man
No,
2
it couldn't
versus
have-
Chrono would have won.
So if we would have had Mega Man 2 here and Chrono here,
Chrono Trigger
I-
instead of Super Mario Brothers 3 and
I
Mega
feel
Man
like
2.
SMB3 was the wide audience classic title, like big, well-known, pop, shiny title. I think if you had the like nerdier, classic-y retro games that are a little more off the main screen competing, Mega Man 2 versus Chrono, I think Chrono crushes it.
I do too, actually. I don't think it crushes it, at least not too hard, but I think Chrono wins if it makes it to the far.
Let's go to the Bowser region far left. We'll
Yeah.
finish here. We see Super Mario again, not gonna read through the first one, but we've got games like Super Mario. We've got a few Marios here, which that's one of the things that we would fix for the future. Like in this bracket alone, we got
It
Super
was like
Mario
all
Bros,
the good Marios. Yeah.
Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, all three of those, which is not okay. We lost Earthbound and Pokemon Red Blue in round 1.
That's crazy.
Was
But they
this
got
the
put up
toughest?
against huge titles?
Was this the toughest bracket?
It
Like,
had
to
some
make choices
classics,
about?
man. I think it might be one of the hardest
Metroid,
ones.
Diablo 2, Ocarina of Time, the Marios I've already said, and Sonic. I think it's the toughest
Galaga.
bracket.
Nah.
Any upsets? So Pokemon Red Blue losing to Super Mario 64 is interesting.
For many
because-
people, that would be an upset. But
Yes,
both of those
yes.
are great titles. I don't think
Sure.
anyone's going to get mad.
I'm surprised that okay, so Pokemon's its own genre, you know, like it's its own thing. So I'm surprised it's out round 1. But to Super Mario 64, I'm totally cool with it. I love that game.
Choco Cat said she couldn't get into Earthbounds. You're not the only one. It takes a unique audience. It's got like an underground.
niche.
Yeah, the humor's weird,
It's
and
niche.
like I know we all. I think if I recall, I know I at least enjoyed it, but I think we all kind of liked it. But it's not everybody's cup of tea.
I like it.
In round 2, we've got Super Mario Bros. Versus Diablo 2. We've got Super
Mhm.
Mario World versus Metroid. Donkey Kong versus Super Mario 64. And Ocarina of Time versus the Blue Hedgehog.
Oh my
Well, I'm
gosh.
glad Sonic got knocked out at least.
Oh, please.
But every single one of these
game's
are
garbage.
key. I don't think you can say this about any other round 2. Every single one of these are key bomb titles.
Yeah.
Genre definer, console definer, genre definer,
Like
video game defining, console defining.
So Diablo 2
best of all
had
time,
to
iconic.
lose to Super Mario Brothers, unfortunately. Like it
it
had
did.
to. I wish
yeah,
it
it
would
did.
have won
not have
out against
to.
something else. But
No,
Super Mario
maybe-
Bros.
Maybe it would have had to have lost to Super Mario 64 or Super Mario 3, but Super Mario 1, nuh-uh.
Yeah, you can't beat
Like
it.
big name recognition, but Diablo 2 is a way better game.
I think all of these make sense. Super Mario
do.
64 for sure is going to take out Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is just the original arcade, Mario or
Barrels.
Plumber Boy or whatever gets to the top. Every single one of these makes sense to me, although they don't all feel good.
Yeah, I'm
That's
with you.
fair.
OOT
And-
though definitely wins that one.
In the Super 16, we've got Super Mario Bros. Versus Super Mario World.
Which was
Our
a
first-
fun matchup. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's our-
surprised here, though I'm a little bummed.
World is it's advanced compared to Bros.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
not
You
surprised on that one.
And then Super Mario 64 versus Ocarina of Time.
The
Also not surprised.
two of my
Ocarina of Time's
favorite games
super
of all
loved.
time. And I wanted OOT to win, so I'm glad that happened. But I do think this one was also pretty close, if I remember correctly.
It had to be.
It made me nervous.
Those are two of the greatest, like of all time.
Of all time
Yeah.
on the
They're
same
both
console.
on the same console, which
Same
is
era.
super interesting. Man, I would have been fine if it went in either way. What about you guys?
I'm glad a Mario got knocked out. It was too many Mario versus Mario versus Mario. Like
I'm with you. There
Mario
were three.
Brothers versus World, Mario
we lost-
64 versus Donkey Kong. Like
We lost two Marios here.
yeah, there needed to be some culling of the Marios. Like choose one to represent you and let some other stuff go in. So
We
I'm
might have
good
put
with it.
too many in there, but they're. I mean, what can we say? They are considered some
Well,
of the
they're
best. All of
huge.
them are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that maybe we do this next year. I think we limit how many from a series or franchise or whatever, so that like we only allow
that's a good idea.
3 Marios or we only allow 3 Final Fantasies. Not that we even had 3, but like we only allow 3 of a series or of a genre.
Yeah, there
And
might
we
be some fun variations we can come up with.
Possibly. The Awesome 8 in this area was Super Mario World versus Legends of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
I am so shocked here.
And
Really?
Super Mario World beat out Ocarina of Time, which Hookshot said in chat that he thinks that's the biggest upset in the entire tournament.
Agreed.
I think so. Like I know there's ones that I personally am more upset about
Yeah.
just because of like I love one or the other, but in terms of my expectations and wide audience, and like if I had to actually put real life money on something where I would have put it, that one came totally out of left field for me. I know Super Mario World is good and loved, but man, not as much as Ocarina of Time in my view.
It was my personal biggest upset, though I get it. Totally get it. Super Mario World is the greatest.
Yeah, that means the Awesome 8 on this side of the bracket is Final Fantasy VII versus A Link to the Past, and then it is Super Mario World versus Ocarina of Time. Link to the Past and Super Mario World faced off, meaning the Fateful Four, which we've already talked about, was Legend of Zelda versus Super Mario World and Super Mario Brothers 3 versus Mega Man 2. And you'll see there in the middle, A Link to the Past versus Super Mario Bros. 3 with the ultimate champion being Legend of Zelda,
Wow.
Link to the Past.
What a tournament, guys.
I gotta say, it was a ton of fun seeing everybody
Yeah, it was.
hop in and cast votes and get in arguments and have opinions, and just like so much fun to see people get engaged and to share this thing on social media and online and getting other people that don't even like know about the show voting. It was just so much fun.
Sure. And thank you guys for those of you that hopped in chat. Let us know your thoughts and opinions, and everyone's got their opinions. Listen, this is an annual thing now. We are going to do this retro gaming tournament for years to come, and it will only get better. As we select our 64 games next time, we'll either have some kind of viewer interaction or listener interaction so that we can cull this list together. But you'll see some of the same titles from this previous year, and you'll see some new ones, but they'll all remain retro. And again, we'll have a whole new audience that are voting. We had hundreds vote in each round this year. Next year we might have thousands.
Yeah,
So
that'd be awesome.
a lot of good ideas in chat.
Yeah, things could change drastically. Thank you guys for hopping in live and talking to us. We got to give a special shout out to Hookshot.
Oh my goodness.
Hookshot made this tournament possible. He
Instrumental.
had a dream of doing this. I believe he told me like a year or two ago, and he just didn't have the resources or
Reach.
didn't have the reach. And then we've even talked about doing something like this before, and really just these two worlds collided. Hookshot created the brackets and the graphics and the web space. We cannot thank you enough. He
That's awesome.
has spent hours on this trying to make it professional and has really helped us really expand our reach over these last couple of weeks through this tournament. So thank you so much.
So much. Thank you.
Yeah, and Ben, to your request in chat to get a little sneak preview of next week's game, since it's already been recorded. Sorry, no can do.
Oh,
I'm a
ouch.
troll, just living the life of a troll. You can always find us on our social media. That's Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch at NGP Podcast. You can follow us on YouTube at New Game Plus Podcast. Make sure to listen to our podcast. That's what we are, first and foremost. You can obviously tell that we're not good with the visuals yet. We're working on it. So all of this lagging and everything that has been happening, we promise to improve it. I think it's Nolan's computer.
Mm-mm.
No, for sure.
There's a good chance that that's at least one of the bottlenecks.
It's the Nautilbeck, and it's your computer.
No.
But if you support us on Patreon, we'll be able to upgrade our stuff and not suck
Nice.
anymore.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/NGP Podcast. And if you want to subscribe to us on Twitch, you can do so either with Amazon Prime for free, or if you just want to get a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, you can get a little icon, and we're going to get some little emotes of Kenny's face.
That's a great idea. Hey, while we're here, just because we can, you guys ought to buy a New Game Plus t-shirt as well. They're
Show it
rad,
off, Kenny.
And yeah, I put mine on today, and so here. This will be awkward, but take a look.
Look
Ooh,
at
not
them
safe for
pecs,
work.
boy.
It looks
am I allowed
good.
to
Have
do
you
this
been
on
working out?
stream?
You
Show
are.
off-
And all
show
the
off my
people,
shirt?
all the people that are listening on the podcast at a later time, just imagine Kenny's beautiful chest wearing a New Game Plus Mega Man themed shirt.
I mean, it looks like he got a little workout pump on first
Oh.
and then showed it off. It was
He for
good.
sure did.
It was good.
Ben, thank you for dropping those 100 bits. We will use those 10
I'm gonna
cents
get a new graphics card.
or 1 cent. What is it? 10
It's
cents,
1
1
cent.
cent, whatever, or 100 cents. I
No,
don't
that's
know.
$1.
It's $1, dude.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to us at a later time. Until next time, I'm still Dustin.
I'm Kenny.
Nolan.
And this is New Game Plus.
Did you just stab on them?